So, welcome to today's Business Spotlight, and today the spotlight falls on Alex Chernenko from Translate.com. Alex, you're very welcome.
Hello, Tom. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. So, tell our audience here today, what do you do and how long have you been doing it?
I'm originally from Ukraine, moved to Ireland 20 years ago and set up a company helping people to remove language barrier. The company is called Translate, and we've been working with individuals, helping them to translate their personal documents and working with the likes of government bodies, being one of the top language service providers in the country as of today. The company was founded in 2009, so it's been a 13-year journey.
Wow. Wow, so that's a long time before the war even started as such.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is great. So tell me, obviously you're very busy at this moment in time with a lot of the people of your fellow countrymen coming over here to Ireland. And do you deal with just the people in Ireland, or do you also deal with people in the UK?
We actually have a subsidiary set up in UK 2 years ago. So we've been expanding to north of Ireland and UK business. And recently we just returned from a trip from Canada. So we're also expanding to the Americas part of the world.
Excellent. Well, that's interesting. So tell me, if you started back in 2009, you've been in business on your own for, 14 years. So COVID came along in the last few years. How did that affect your business? Did it affect your business? And were there what positives and what changes were forced upon you?
It did indeed. Just before the COVID, at the end of 2019, we launched our first software product, and we were expecting that it's going to hit the world and we were going to be successful. But the product was targeting essentially language services delivered on the ground, which in Ireland is the first way to receive language services. And during COVID, everything went online and remote. So essentially, we were out of job for a number of months. And we, instead of kind of just deciding not to do anything, we pivoted and we launched a new software product within a short span of time of 6 months, without any additional funding, without any investment, just managed to do it kind of by ourselves. And that product was essentially a remote simultaneous interpreter platform, allowing all our subcontractors to keep their job and work remotely, providing the same service as they used to do on site. And that kind of changed the dynamics. That platform got really good demand in a short space of time, and it helped us to actually get through the COVID. So kind of on one side, we could be closing the business, but then we pivoted, came out with a new product, and COVID helped to promote that and even achieve new heights that we probably wouldn't have done without it.
Excellent. So tell me, can you give me an example or two of some of those services that your people that you translate for? Give me some idea of some of those services that you provide.
Yeah. So as you can think of a number of government bodies, HSE, revenue commissioners, Department of Social Protection, they would be dealing with non-native English speakers, and we would be sending them interpreters to help them communicate with essentially their users. That's a typical scenario. And then we would be translating. We're one of the Irish translation tender framework users. So that means we are translating a lot of annual reports and content that goes on government websites into Irish. That could be another use case. And then any company who is expanding, a small business who is looking to expand to, let's say, European market, and they need all their marketing materials translated or the whole website. That would be also something that we do quite often, helping Irish businesses to go outside into the new territories with different languages, essentially.
Interesting. So it goes the other way around as well. Okay, that's interesting. So tell me, you're in business a long time on your own. What would you say is the biggest learning that you've had since you became a business owner?
Biggest learning was probably not to be afraid of failures. I started many projects that didn't pick up. And I think, I would be agreeing with the average of kind of 9 out of 10 businesses fail, one succeeds. So I had to fail 9 times before things started to work out. And that's probably, just something to be aware of, that if I'm starting something new, I always have that approach that I'm not expecting it to be a success, but if it does, it's going to be great. But, I'm trying constantly new things. And when things don't work out, I just move on to something else because I know one of those 10 attempts will finally succeed. Sometimes it's a
like
bit
that.
better, sometimes it's worse.
I like that thinking because at the end of the day, if you're afraid of failure, then you won't try. So you got to try something. If you're not trying, you're failing. If you're not failing, you're not trying. It's a catch-22 situation. So tell me, what do you see as the future for your business, for your industry? Can you see areas of opportunities for you in different countries, different languages? Where do you see your future?
Yeah, well, a couple of years ago, I was predicting that machine translation will gradually replace translators to some point, and we made a decision about 3.5, nearly 4 years ago, to shift focus completely into the voice language services. And that was the right thing to do because last year a report came out from the United States that translators nowadays get paid less than what they've been paid 3 years ago. And imagine this, the cost of living rises, but the translators are the one that were suffering and their income declines because the artificial intelligence replaces them and does a better job every year. So the expectation is that over the next few years, AI will also move into the voice services. So now we are kind of embracing it. And our next product, let's say feature update would be that existing two solutions that we currently have, we will be enhancing them with AI and essentially offering customers an ability to use either human interpreters or use the computer generated voice because they get better, they get more sophisticated. And it's a feature that we will incorporate essentially and use it and offer it to the clients as opposed to waiting for somebody else to replace us with this type of tool.
It kind of would become more like a SaaS product then. You'd be able to have a subscription model where you could go in and just choose from ABC different service, pay a monthly subscription fee or pay it for a week, pay it for a month, whatever it might be, or pay as you go, that sort of thing.
Yeah, we already have a SaaS solution, but it's not offering the machine interpreting essentially. And this is something that the client's already asking. So that's going to be the next kind of 2-year growth of adding AI and embedding it into existing solutions, updating it further, and turning it into its own essentially product on the subscription model, as you suggested.
You may have answered already, but how many languages do you deal in?
I haven't answered the question, but we've already provided services in more than 150 languages. And sometimes we get a request for an odd language that we haven't worked with, but it takes us maybe 2 days to source an expert in that area through our network of existing translators. So there hasn't been a case where we couldn't find a language, even if it's the language that we haven't worked up until that moment.
Yeah. Excellent, excellent. So tell me, if you were to give advice, Alex, to yourself when you were 18 years of age, looking back a little bit, what advice would you give to yourself now?
Advice to start earlier and to read more books. Instead of partying and wasting time on TV series, shows, and other entertainment, I would probably give myself advice. Yeah, start earlier and learn more while the brain absorbs the knowledge easier.
Excellent. Alex, listen, thank you so much for taking part with us today. If people want to get in touch with you for any reason, what would be the best way of reaching you? I'm
available on LinkedIn. Our website is translate.ie. You can also find us on translate.com. I'm very active in social media such as LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. So Alex Chernenko, feel free to connect and share some industry insights or ask for questions if I can be of assistance.
Fantastic. Alex Chernenko, thank you so much for participating in today's Business Spotlight. I really appreciate it, and the very best of luck to you.
Well, thank you again for having me.